Welcome to the very first episode of the BigTwig and the Boys. Technically, it's our, I think, seventh episode, but we rebranded, and I'm very excited to be back again. I have Krop with me, as usual, and
Yes, sir.
we got the NFL draft coming up very soon, and that's something that I think everybody's pretty excited for because it's probably one of the most exciting draft classes I think we've had in a while. And there's a lot of question marks, and so me and Krop are gonna give our mock draft because the draft is coming up in a couple days. And so yeah, we're gonna basically do a mock draft on the simulator we have here, and yeah, let's see what Krop has with the first two picks.
Yeah, first two picks I think are the most self-explanatory picks dang near all time. Trevor Lawrence going number one, without a doubt.
Yeah,
Zach Wilson's going two, without a doubt, especially after the Sam Darnold trade. Good thing this is getting recorded post Sam Darnold trade, so we do have that information.
yeah,
'Cause
and
at first I was thinking they take Penei Sewell, sure up, give Sam Darnold another chance, and then maybe attack the QB situation next year. But I think Zach Wilson's definitely their guy.
yeah, and they traded Darnold to the Panthers, who now have a whole bunch of quarterbacks. And they're one of those teams where they're a solid team, but they don't know what their quarterback situation is. I think that goes for a lot of teams like the Niners and the Colts. And yeah, that's a big thing because we didn't really know. Like Krop said, they could have just gone for a solid role player to go alongside Darnold, but it looks like they're going after a quarterback.
Yeah, I mean, after that trade, it kind of erased all doubt of anything but a quarterback going at number two to the Jets. The Jets are really in dire need of a good quarterback. They haven't had a good quarterback in probably the last 20 years.
I don't think we've been alive.
Next pick, 49ers traded up with who they trade up with? Houston, I believe.
Miami had the Houston
Miami.
pick.
Okay.
Yeah.
Miami had the Houston pick. Houston didn't even own the pick. So a lot of trading going on with what's happened in the past and just now currently. I think they want to trade up that far if they weren't taking a quarterback. I think Fields is probably their guy at 3. But another option could be like a Trey Lance or maybe Mac Jones. It's kind of up to what Kyle Shanahan wants to do with that offense. But I would say Fields is probably the guy.
Yeah, and there's been a lot of rumors about the Niners picking Justin Fields over the past couple weeks. He had his second pro day a few days ago, and they've had, I think most teams were there in terms of scouting, but I think Niners were there too. And yeah, Justin Fields I think is a solid pick for the Niners, who are already a pretty good team.
Yeah, I don't really think the Niners need a whole lot of stuff. I think their quarterback play definitely could get better. All of their defense should come back after every single one of them tore their ACLs last year.
Yeah,
So I think their defense will be solid again, and then really the offense is the only thing in question. Also, don't understand why it says needs tight end, considering they have George Kittle, but
yeah,
we don't have to talk about that. We have Falcons at pick 4. This is where I kind of struggle with this pick, just because. I mean, at this point, there's a lot of things that they could do, but I think you kind of want to take the best player on the board, and I think that's Kyle Pitts. Personally, I think the Falcons should take Kyle Pitts. I mean, he's a probably once in a generation tight end. I mean, he's 6'6" and ran like a 4.40. That's kind of unheard of.
Yeah, and I agree. Like, he's probably the most athletic player in this draft, at his position at least, and probably in the entire draft. And it's kind of you kind of realize what you have whenever he's a tight end, but he's getting compared to Calvin Johnson. Like he's insane talent.
Yeah, he's legit like the next Calvin Johnson in my eyes. I mean, humongous, big hands, good 40. The route running is so crisp. I mean, he's really a can't miss prospect. I really think, in my opinion, out of everybody in the draft, he has to be the most can't miss prospect.
Oh yeah,
it's Kyle Pitts. The Bengals are at pick 5. This is another spot I really unsure where people will go with here, where the Bengals will go with here. I would like to see them take Penei Sewell, because that offensive line is god awful.
Yeah, the
But
worst in the league, basically.
I do think ideally they're probably going to end up taking a wide receiver. I think they're probably going to take Jamar Chase, but you could very well see Penei Sewell. It's kind of a spot where I'm not necessarily sure which side they're really leaning on.
Yeah, I mean, you either go for protection or you go for more weapons for Joe Burrow. I mean, either way, it's going to be an improvement on that offense who struggled. Even as great as Joe Burrow played last year, they didn't win a lot of games last year with him. So it's definitely both of those are big needs for that team.
Yeah, and I definitely think that. I think they're going to go with Jamar Chase, especially with the chemistry they had at LSU. I mean, they're doing crazy numbers there. I think they will go Jamar Chase, but I would not hate the pick if they decided to take Penei Sewell there.
All right, and then next up we got the Dolphins. Their first pick, they traded back. Or no, I believe this is still. I lose track. They have like 2 picks right now in the first round, right?
Yeah, I believe at first they traded back a little bit,
Yeah.
and then traded up again. I
Okay.
think that's what happened.
Yeah, because they traded with Philly. Yeah.
This is another spot where there's a lot of things they could do here. The offensive line could get a little bit better. Penei Sewell's still on the board. But I also think they could very well use a wide receiver. I think Devontae Parker is a really good wide receiver, but he kind of needs a little bit of help. And I think they could go Waddle, Smith, one of those 2 guys. I think they probably go Smith, to be quite honest.
Yeah, I agree on that one too. Because I mean, you got you. They don't really know. I mean, they found their quarterback, they think, in Tua, but they just got Brissett from the Colts on a free agent deal, and I think the best thing right now is for Brian Flores to just keep the same team because it really worked last year, and they were really close to going to the playoffs last year after like a terrible couple of seasons before Flores came in.
Another thing to consider, I know I'm pretty sure Will Fuller signed in Miami as well. They
Yeah.
may address the offensive line with Penei Sewell, but Penei Sewell, by the way, is an amazing prospect. I think he's like the Quinn Nelson of this draft.
Oh yeah.
I really don't. I think he's a can't miss lineman as well. It's kind of just with Miami. I'm kind of unsure how they feel about their wide receiver position, but I think they will probably address that, especially if Devontae Smith's on the board. I wouldn't imagine them really going much else or going anywhere else with that. And then next we have the Detroit Lions, who kind of need everything.
Yeah.
To be quite honest. This is another pick where I don't think their O-line is terrible by any means. I think they need defense, and probably with the departure of why am I spacing his name right now? Kenny Galladay. With the departure of Kenny Galladay, I think they probably will address wide receiver, and I think that'll be Jalen Waddle.
Yeah, I mean that's a solid wide receiver right there. He's probably the second or third best wide receiver in this draft. And yeah, at this point for the Lions, they're in complete rebuild. They got the new coach, and he's got a great attitude about how they're moving forward. And I hope Detroit finally gets something going in the next couple of years. But it's definitely a rebuild year.
Yeah, 100%. And Waddle is what many say is the only comparable, but nobody can be Tyreek Hill. But he's the only thing comparable to him, is what a lot of people are saying. I think he'll be amazing, truthfully.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just one of those things where I feel like a lot of teams kind of need help at wide receiver right now. Next up on the clock is the Panthers. Panthers are another team I'm kind of unsure on. They could go quarterback here, very well, but I'm not sure that they would do that. I think it just depends on if those wide receivers go back to back with a lot of this here.
Yeah, and I think Panthers are a pretty solid team. I mean, they're not in contending for the NFC South yet, but they have a good foundation. They got a new coach last year. Bridgewater, he didn't really live up to the expectations that he had after his last year with the Saints. And that's part of the reason they got Sam Darnold in that trade with the Jets. And yeah, I mean, Panthers could go in a lot of different ways. I would expect them if Penei Sewell is still at this point on the board, I would definitely say they'd go after him. But yeah, it's not too far out there to say they draft a quarterback.
Yeah, I think here it could be Lance or Penei Sewell. But I think you take Sewell, he's the best prospect on the board. You don't have to worry about the tackle position for the next 4 to 5 years, more than likely.
Oh, yeah.
Broncos are up next on the clock. I think this is a quarterback, no matter what here, honestly.
You think they're gonna they're done with Drew Lock? You think?
I think so. I think they're about fed up with Drew Lock. I think Trey Lance is probably their guy. I could see that happening.
Wow, big pick right here.
I really do think Trey Lance is probably their guy. I mean, he performed very well in college.
Oh yeah, he was great. I mean, it's so weird. I mean, the thing with like small school like North Dakota State is you don't know like what their competition is, what they're going up against. We saw that with Jordan Love. That's why he dropped so far down. In my opinion, that's why he dropped so far down last year. And I think Trey Lance has like some really good talent. And there was some buzz about him going to the Colts this year, but that was before that was the whole conversation with Carson Wentz happened. But yeah, Trey Lance has a great arm, great great run ability, like all the things you want a quarterback. Trey Lance has.
Yeah, he kind of reminds me of Russell Wilson. I think if a lot of teams start seeing him in the eyes like that, in their eyes like a Russell Wilson, I think that Trey Lance will probably end up going to the Broncos at 9.
It's a big pick right there, man.
Yeah, that's something that could change a franchise.
Oh yeah.
Next up is the Broncos. I think they are terrible in the secondary. I think this is 110% Patrick Surtain, and there's not really much to debate about it. Yeah, he's the best corner in the draft. Played amazing last year at Alabama. I really think they need a ton of help in the secondary. I think they take Pat Surtain.
Oh yeah. I mean, that defense was just god awful last year. They're on pace to have the worst defensive team rating in NFL history in the first few games, and God, they definitely need some help with the corners. I'm on other things.
Yeah, I mean their defense is just god awful. I think Patrick Surtain really shored that up. They also had the other Alabama corner from last year's draft. I can't remember his name, but he got hurt in the middle of the season. He was playing very well. A guy that I thought the Colts had a chance of taking, but he got drafted a little bit before they got on the clock again. I was a little upset, but yeah, they still need help there for sure. New York Giants are at pick 11. I think what they probably need is a little bit of pass protection. Maybe Daniel Jones isn't as dog shit as we all think. Possibly.
I mean, he's got to prove himself.
They got him a bunch of weapons now.
Oh yeah,
at least
he's got Galladay. He's got Saquon Barkley. He's got, I guess if you count what's the tight end's name?
Sterling Shepard, Evan Ingram.
Yeah. If you count him, I mean that's a solid offense right there.
Team's not necessarily bad, depending on Daniel Jones. I think their defense is pretty solid. I think you just shore up your offensive line, and I think they probably go over Sean Slater at pick 11.
I think that's a very, very possible pick, given the fact that they want to protect Jones on the edge.
Yeah, I think I can't remember how bad their offensive line was, but I would have him honestly falling to the Giants in this.
Yeah, and picking someone like Slater, it can really do if he plays like he's played in college, it can do something that can change a team, kind of like how Nelson did that to the Colts. And especially at this point in that division, it's so weak. A team like the Giants really can capitalize on that division and just take it for the next couple of years.
Yeah, I think they're being good hands. I mean, that division's in shambles right now. I mean,
Oh yeah.
I mean, it's always up for grabs. I think Washington's probably the best team in that division, but
Oh yeah. Washington's fun. They're fun to watch, man.
yeah,
I'm so excited to see how they do.
I mean, I think they probably have a top three defense. To be
Oh
quite
yeah.
honest,
They were top three last year, weren't they?
I'm pretty sure they were. I
Yeah.
think it was Rams, us, and then them.
Mhm.
Up next is the Eagles on the at pick 12. I'm kind of unsure what they might do here. I think they need a wide receiver extremely bad, but at this point, you already have Waddle and Smith and Jamar Chase all off the board.
Yeah.
Although, like I said, I think Sewell could go earlier, so you could see one of those guys fall back. If one of those guys fall back, I do think the Eagles won't fuck up a wide receiver pick again, like they did last year. Terribly, terribly wrong.
Mhm.
Here, I'm really kind of unsure. They might go corner. I mean, J.C. Horn is on the board. Greg Newsome is also on the board. The corner depth this year is pretty solid.
Yeah.
And
It's
I think
it's really
they
good.
need defense folk. So they might go J.C. Horn here. That's kind of my take on that. Maybe Micah Parsons. Micah Parsons is also another person I would consider that being there.
Yeah, we haven't seen a linebacker taking it in this draft yet, so I mean,
I would imagine Micah Parsons probably being best available at that time. They'd probably take that.
yeah, I
So
agree.
I think you could see. I think it's going to be a defensive pick unless there's a wide receiver there. I think they're going to take Micah Parsons, J.C. Horn, for whatever reason. If they mess up the Pat Surtain pick, I mean, they'll be taking him if he is there.
Yeah.
Next on the clock is the Chargers. The Chargers need O-line help. It's kind of as simple as that.
Yeah.
Christian Darrisaw is the best tackle on the board at the moment after Rashawn Slater and Penei Sewell are both gone. I think Christian Darrisaw is probably their guy unless one of those guys fall.
Yeah, I mean, you're the Chargers. You probably had a chance at every game last year when Justin Herbert played. And you got to get a start with him, and you don't want to. And your biggest problem was the tackle position on the line. So I mean, yeah, I think Darisaw's their best option at this point.
Yeah, I completely agree. I think they need O-line help. They go get it. They'll be a little bit better off. Hopefully, Herbert would have a better year with a more improved O-line at that point. Up next would be the Minnesota Vikings at pick 14. This is another team that I guess I'm not like super in depth in the research on the Vikings at all. Really, I know that they could use a lot of help in a lot of places. To be honest,
Yeah, Vikings is one of those teams where I don't know, kind of like the Falcons. They have a lot of talent. They just don't. They did not want to win a lot of games last year. In my opinion, that's a big part to Kirk Cousins because I really don't think he's all that. At this point in the draft, there is no quarterback. Even if they wanted to pick a quarterback, I doubt they would anyways. Well, there is Mac Jones. I did not see his name. But yeah, I see them picking up defensive help on this pick. You know, they could go after Barmore from Alabama. He'd be a solid pick. I mean,
yeah, I think they definitely go defensive probably on this one. Barmore is probably best player available. They probably go with him, I would imagine. At least in this scenario, they do. It helps out their defense. They shore up a little bit on there. They don't probably have to worry about that position for a little bit. I think Barmore is probably their pick at that point. Then you got the Pats at pick 15, and I think this is worst case scenario for everybody in the league, is a quarterback falls to them, but I think it will happen.
Mm-hmm. Like Trey Lance. Trey Lance could possibly fall to them.
Trey Lance, Mac Jones, any of those guys.
Yeah.
I think Mac Jones is probably the guy they really want.
Mm-hmm.
And I think considering he is available in your quarterback position is Cam Newton right now. you're probably unsure of that future, you probably want to take Mac Jones. I think the Pats will take Mac Jones here.
Yeah, and I think we can all agree that Patriots basically won free agency, and it was like the first week they got all their free agents. They got Johnny Smith. They and unfortunately they lost. It was Patrick Chung, right? He retired.
Yeah, Patrick Chung
Yeah,
retired.
they lost him on defense, and they could go defense, but yeah, I agreed. Mac Jones is if he drops it this low, or Trey Lance, which could happen very easily. Um, yeah, I see Belichick just picking one of those two and just rolling with them for the next 22 years.
Yeah, I mean, I think Mac Jones is definitely their guy. Whatever quarterback is there, I think will probably end up being their guy. Unless all of them go, I could see that happening as well. I mean, if the Panthers very well could be taking a quarterback.
Yeah,
it's kind of just all dependent. I figured after the Sam Darnold trade, they might want to hold on to Sam Darnold for a bit, or Teddy Bridgewater, however they choose to go about that.
yeah,
Up next would be the Arizona Cardinals. They just signed J.J. Watt, so I really don't think they need a lot of defensive line help. And they drafted what's his name last year? Was that safety safety linebacker hybrid out of Clemson?
Oh,
Can't remember his name for the life of me right now, but he is. I think he just needed some help and more experience. I think he'll be really good.
yeah. God, I cannot remember his name.
But I do think they probably need some secondary help at this point in the draft. Best corner probably available is J.C. Horn, Greg Newsome.
Yeah,
One of the two. I think they probably go J.C. Horn here.
yeah. He's a South Carolina product, and they're pretty good with defensive guys, as Colts fans know. So, yeah, I see Arizona taking J.C. Horn as a very big possibility to help that defense, which had problems last year.
Yeah, I mean, the defense did struggle a lot. Their offense is super high powered. I don't see a lot of people stopping that offense. The defense was mainly the only like sticking out like a sore thumb type area. J.C. Horn should shore up that secondary, especially with Pat Pete getting old. I don't even know if Pat Pete is a free agent or not. He may have signed somewhere.
I think he's still a free agent.
Yeah, he might
be. I haven't heard anything. Oh, he signed. He may sign with somebody. I think actually. I've totally because there was a lot of talk about him going to the Colts, joining Xavier Rhodes, but that did not happen.
I mean, if he did sign anywhere, and he's out of Arizona, they definitely need some corner help. So J.C. Horn should be the right guy for him. At pick 17, we have the Las Vegas Raiders. This is another team I feel like needs a lot of help. O-line, secondary. Their secondary was god-awful last year. Pass rush was god-awful. The whole defense was just god-awful. I mean, Derek Carr, and for whatever reason, they're letting Nelson Aguilar walk. But, I mean, those guys really kept them in the games a lot of the times.
Yeah.
So I do think they're going to go secondary help here. I do think they go with this safety out of TCU, Trayvon. I don't know how to say his last name. Looks like Moehrig.
Moehrig, yeah.
Trayvon Moehrig, best player on the board right now. I would assume they'd probably go with him.
Yeah, there's so many holes on that defense. We saw that in the game against the Colts, where Philip Rivers just torched him and Taylor just torched him. So
yeah, defense is just honestly terrible. Dolphins are back on the board here. Here's where I think they could go edge rusher. They might have to go edge.
They got Kwity Paye on the board right now.
Kwity Paye is on the board,
which is something that me and Krop really want on the Colts.
Yeah, really he is there. They could use some O-line help, but some of the best O-linemen are gone. Mm-hmm. So at this point, you kind of don't know where you might want to go with that. Yeah, I think they might end up having to take an edge rusher here and go Kwity Paye at pick 18.
Yeah, that's a solid pick right there.
Yeah, I think he's got all the like ability there. He might just need a little bit of technique, reassurance, which would be nice if he was on the Colts. I think Franny or Robert Mathis are his helping coach
Hmm.
or teach those young guys. I mean, those are some of the best guys to learn from. So
Yeah, Mathis is posting every day. He's he's training Touré. He was he works with Justin Houston. At least last year. We don't know if he's coming back this year yet. Um, with DeForest Buckner, that whole D line was great last year. And yeah, Quiddy Pay would be a nice addition to that.
and then up next you have the football team. I'm unsure about their QB situation, but all the best QBs are gone off the board. You're not really concerned with that right now.
Hey, they got Fitzmagic though.
They do have
They got
Fitzmagic.
Fitzmagic.
I think your biggest concerns might be your linebacker and wide receiver positions. And at this point in the draft, you do have Rashad Bateman and Jeremiah Owusu Kamara from Notre Dame. I watched Notre Dame. Notre Dame's my favorite college team, as I've said before. Dude's a beast. Like I really could see him falling there. Bateman is also a beast. I could see him going there as well. So I think it's kind of a coin toss between those two if these two are on the board.
Yeah, you're not going wrong either way. I mean, two great players. Bateman is very good.
Yeah, I mean, he's a big, physical, dominant wide receiver. And I mean, with the weapons they have there, which is kind of none, except for Terry McLaurin, they might go him. Like I said, that defense is pretty solid. They may not really need a linebacker. So Bateman might be the pick there. But like I said, it's kind of like 50-50. It's kind of hard to decipher which one they might go with there. But if I had to pick, I would think they would go Bateman just due to the defense already not being all that bad. You kind of need some more weapon help, especially with the whole QB situation.
Yeah.
Up next, you have the Bears. Bears are terrible. They're a bad football team.
Yeah, I don't know what they're trying to do with Andy Dalton. I mean, they don't really have a quarterback right now, in my opinion. Andy Dalton, I used to be very high on, but I don't know. I mean, they could have done better.
They tagged A-Rob, which kind of sucks for everybody in the league.
Oh yeah, because he does not want to be there. Clearly.
Yeah, he's stuck in purgatory. The O-line needs so much help. Secondary needs help because they released Kyle Fuller. So I think this really comes down to more of a corner or tackle, or maybe a guard here.
Yeah.
Greg Newsome is on the board. And how do you even say that last name?
Which one?
Aaliyah Vera Tucker.
Yeah. Vera Tucker.
Yeah, Vera Tucker is also on the board. I think with that, they could go either way. I also, thinking back on it, I really don't feel like Jeremiah Owusu Kamara will even be there. I really don't see that happening.
Really?
Yeah, I don't think he'll be there. I think one of these guys up here will probably take a risk on him earlier.
I can see the Patriots possibly getting him if they don't go with Mac Jones.
Yeah, I could see that as well. But with the Bears here, I think they probably do go like Greg Newsome, especially after releasing Kyle Fuller. I could see that happening. Greg Newsome. And now the culture on the clock.
This is a big pick right here. The tough thing is where we're positioned, and this is why a lot of people think we are going to trade back. And I don't really think we will at this point, but it is a possibility. It just seems like we're in a tough situation where you don't want to draft too soon, and all the good draft picks are mostly gone right now. So it's kind of like, it's a tough situation for Chris Ballard.
Yeah, I mean, I completely agree. I kind of unsure about this. I really think a trade back is very possible, but it's kind of one of those things where kind of have their fate in their own hands in this situation.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know necessarily what they would do here. There's a lot of good prospects still on the board.
You got Phillips. You got Moore from Purdue. I mean,
I know they talked about Caleb Farley possibly going, which would be amazing. I think he's a really, really good pick.
Mm-hmm.
But I think they kind of are hell-bent on a tackle here as well. But I also see a trade back. So right now we're doing this with no trades.
Yeah.
I think that's the best way to go about it, considering I don't know the most about every single team. So it's kind of hard to sit here and assess everything and all these players. Here, I think they probably go with an edge, because you can probably address tackle later on in the draft just due to how deep this is.
Mm-hmm.
And I would say they'd probably go Jalen Phillips.
Yeah, Jalen Phillips, he's had a lot of buzz. He didn't really have anything before this year, but he came in and just rocked it in Miami this year. And yeah, Colts picking up an edge rusher like him, it definitely helped our defense already when it's already a top 5 defense in the league.
Yeah, I mean, I think we need a certified pass rusher, and I think that'll help out a ton. Phillips could solve that issue. I would like to see Kwity Paye there. Like I said, it kind of just depends on what every team does. With our mock drafts, there could have been some picks that you look back and question. I think our first 4 to 5 to 6 picks is probably what everybody thinks.
Yeah.
But like I said, I haven't done the most in-depth research on a lot of these teams. Like I said, we mainly focus on the Colts. So
yeah, that's not what this podcast is about. We don't really think things through, man.
Yeah, we don't think things through. It's just on a whim. Up next, we have the Titans. Fuck the Titans.
Yep.
But
Titans.
I think they go Elijah Moore. Replace the Corey Davis loss.
Yeah, they really needed wide receiver help.
I think they only have AJ Brown. I think Elijah Moore is their guy. I really don't have a lot to necessarily say about that one, because I think it's kind of self-explanatory. They need wide receiver help. Their defense isn't the worst not terrible. I think they're more middle of the pack than anybody. You're running the ball. It doesn't even matter. You kind of just need another wide receiver kind of stretch out threat. I think Elijah Moore is their pick.
Yeah. I mean, I totally agree. I mean, just they lost so much on wide receiver. They lost Humphreys and they lost Davis, and then they lost Johnny Smith, who didn't play last year, but he was a pretty good tight end last year, or the year before this year. Yeah, that's a solid pick in my opinion. That's going to be Elijah Moore, very fast wide receiver.
Yeah, I think he's very good. I think he helps stretch out that offense. Go over the top, take the top off the defense.
Mm-hmm.
Get AJ Brown more in the middle, as well as AJ Brown also is a very good deep threat. I think if you have people worried about them two running deep, and then Derrick Henry, kind of set yourself up for success right there.
Mm-hmm.
Jets are at 23. They're god awful. I think they just take Notre Dame linebacker Jeremiah Owusu-Kamara, because they just have so many holes. I really don't see a reason not to take him.
Yeah, that's unfortunate for the Notre Dame prospect, because he's went from a playoff team to a bottom of the pack NFL team.
Yeah.
Oh boy.
Up next at 24, you have the Steelers.
They got a lot of holes. Definitely.
They do. Defense is fine. You don't need any defense here.
No.
I think they go O-line due to the fact Alejandro Villanueva is still a free agent. You're probably not re-signing him. So you need a tackle. Vera Tucker, USC, still on the board. I think they probably go Vera Tucker.
Yeah, I also think Mayfield from Michigan. I had a chance to speak with him. He mentioned that the Steelers, the Bills, and the Colts are all in contact with him in that Zoom interview. And so, yeah, I think tackle is probably what they're going to go for, especially with Ben, who's very old right now. And, yeah, I don't... how disappointing was that season for the Steelers? I mean, it was fun for us, but, they started 11-0, and then they lose almost every game.
Yeah, It was kind of disappointing for Steelers fans. I know I work with a few people that are Steelers fans, and I was like saying, rubbing it in their face, like, you guys are dog shit.
Until they beat us on some bullshit ref
Yeah, they
calls.
shouldn't have beat us.
Yeah.
Then you have the Jags up next again at 25. I think the Jags have one of the most holy teams. There's just so much wrong.
Yeah. And you don't really know what direction Urban Meyer's going to take him. I mean, obviously the first pick is going to be Trevor Lawrence, but from then on, I guess you just help out that O-line. I mean, I don't really know what else to say about that. Their defense has a solid foundation, but I mean, they still need help on that side of the ball.
Caleb Farley is another person you could see possibly picked there, but I do think they might have to go O-line. I think Tevin Jenkins out of Oklahoma State.
Mm-hmm.
I think he's a very good prospect. He's somebody that I've actually been looking into for the Colts for draft. I mean, that team just need, especially with Trevor Lawrence, you're going to want some protection on that backside.
Yeah, we saw what happens with Joe Burrow last year.
Yeah, I think he's one of those people that if he's there, you take him. Any tackle, really. There's a lot of guys that you could see go. Walker Little from Stanford is another person you could see go right there. But I do think Tevin Jenkins, personally, I do think Tevin Jenkins is a better player. I think that's who they would go with to protect his backside.
Mm-hmm.
The Browns are up next at 26. I'm not overly sure what they really want to address. They just signed Clowney.
Yeah, for what was it, $10 million?
Yeah,
too much money.
Yeah. Too much money for him. Their offense really doesn't have a lot of issues. They have one of the best offensive lines, one of the best receiving cores, one of the best running back duos. A good quarterback if he keeps on bouncing back like he was.
Mm-hmm.
I think their defense is probably what they would address. Possibly an interior defensive lineman. Maybe an edge, maybe a safety. There's a lot of elite edge rushers still available right now. So, they could bring in another edge, and after they get done with Clowney this year, kick his ass to the curb, and then have whoever really learn behind him. I don't know. What's your kind of take on that?
I mean, the Browns were very good last year. I surprised a lot of people about how good they were. Yeah, I mean, right now you just got to shore up your defensive line, in my opinion. I think Jason Owe from Penn State is a very solid pick. Penn State always brings out some great defensive players, and you got
Azize Ojare.
Aziz Ojare, yeah, I mean...
Yeah. That dude has a messed up name.
There's a lot of those names in here.
Gregory Rousseau is another guy you could possibly see going there, too. But I think he'll fall a little bit. I think he'll fall second round.
Yeah.
But I do think Azize Ojare... I'm not saying it again. Edge rusher from Georgia. And
Aziz.
Jason Owe are the two guys I probably think about. I think I probably lean more towards Jason Owe if he's still there.
Mm-hmm.
That's who I think they would probably take.
Yeah, and you already got Myles Garrett on that D line, so just helping that would just make it a very scary line in a pretty wide open division in the AFC North. In my opinion, anyone can win that right now, except for the Bengals. In my opinion.
Yeah, I completely agree with that. The Ravens are up next at 27. They suck at wide receiver. I think they take wide receiver.
Yeah, they're trying to get T.Y. Hilton and many other free agents this offseason for wide receiver. And all they got was Sammy Watkins, which isn't bad, but they definitely need more than that for Lamar Jackson, who he's running for his life out there at the time, and he needs someone to get open.
Yeah, I completely agree. I think Hollywood Brown hasn't really panned out the way they thought he would. I think Terrence Marshall Jr. is still on the board here, and probably will be. Mm-hmm. I think will probably be the pick at 27 for the Ravens. Shores up the wide receiver spot a little bit, gets them better. I think that's a really good pick for them. Saints are out on the board at 28. Here's Drew Brees retired, so I find it hard that they may not consider a quarterback if the option is there. I don't think that'll be addressed this year. I think it all depends on how they do next year with whoever they decide to start.
Yeah, they got both Winston and Hill as options. James Winston, when he played last year, he played pretty good, and he got that LASIK eye surgery, which, if that helped him, then maybe he's the Saints' answer to who's the next Drew Brees.
Yeah, maybe seeing 2020 now.
Yeah,
not seeing 15 people across this field of view.
Yeah, bro. That's the only reason he sucked all those years, is because he couldn't see, man.
He just couldn't see. Yeah, I think here the Saints, according here, need a wide receiver, linebacker, and corner help. Caleb Farley is still available. Great prospect. I kind of think that they would be leaning more towards that. Possibly a linebacker if Notre Dame prospect still there. You might want to take him. But I think Caleb Farley is probably their pick here.
Mm-hmm.
Green Bay is up next at 29. I really didn't think Green Bay had a lot of holes. I really thought they're a really well-rounded team.
All I'm saying, they better go wide receiver. Like, I don't know who they have as an option right now. I don't think they have a lot. But, I mean, you got to help out Devontae Adams on that core because, it's just him out there. It's just him. And Rodgers needs those weapons, and that's what he was supposed to get last draft, and they picked Jordan Love. And, yeah, they need to find a way to get past the NFC Championship because they've made it twice, and they've completely blown both of them.
And I really, really do agree. I think Rondell Moore is one of those guys who's definitely late second round, early day two guy. Amazing. He's so good, but he has such a high ceiling and such a low floor that it's kind of like one of those guys you feel like you're taking a big risk on. I feel like if he has Devontae Adams on the other side, it'll help get him open. I think Rondell Moore might be the pick here.
Yeah, and, all I'm saying is it's a current classmate of Al Krawczynski, so we'd be seeing one of his boys going to the leagues, to the big leagues, but I'm not saying that Krop actually knows him, but...
yeah, that's one of the guys I haven't met. Met Travion, but I haven't
met
yeah. I think that's probably who they go with here. Like I said, one of those big wide receiver prospects could still be on the board. One of those guys that have a higher floor than Rondell, they might take there. But in this situation, Rondell is the best available wide receiver currently, and I think he adds a lot to an offense. It gives Aaron Rodgers a lot to throw to there.
Yeah.
Up next is Buffalo. Buffalo probably needs some defensive line help out of anything, whether it's interior or edge rusher. Here, I think they could also go corner. Asante Samuel Jr. The name's kind of scary to see, actually.
Mm-hmm.
Could very well be a pick here.
Yeah, corner, they need some help. They lost Josh Norman, and they actually had Colts TJ Carey visit the other day. It was announced today that TJ Carey signed with the Colts, but yeah, they definitely need some cornerback help.
Yeah, Zize is, I'm not saying his last name, the edge rusher from Georgia is still on the board here. I think he's one of those guys that could be very good as well. This is a pick where they might have to go Zize. They could also go Asante. I think either way is very good. But I think personally here, I think Asante is a better player. I think that's who they would probably go with. It helps. It kind of shuts down the whole field essentially, especially when you have Trey White on the other side.
Oh yeah, he showed out last season, like more than any other season he's had, and God, it was great to watch.
The Chiefs, I think they let a lot of their linemen walk, if I'm not mistaken.
They let all of their linemen.
They let almost all their linemen walk.
Yeah, and God, Chiefs. I feel like I don't know. I don't want to jump the gun because I feel like every time anyone says this about a team like the Chiefs or Tom Brady and the Patriots or with Tom Brady and the Bucks. It seems like the Chiefs' window is closed. Like, I mean, they're still going to be a contender, but those 2 years, the last 2 3 years was their chance with Mahomes to get a Super Bowl. I just feel like they don't have a lot on the offensive line. We saw those weaknesses when in the Super Bowl when they played the Bucks, and saw their weakness on the defense. And yeah, that's just how I'm looking at it right now.
I mean, they could use some edge rush help or offensive line help. There's not a ton of holes on that team. Here, our two best available right now is Azize and Walker Little. I think they could go either way. I really think they're more worried about that O-line help.
Mm-hmm.
I think Walker Little is probably the pick there.
Yeah, I agree.
And next, it's the Bucks. This is another team. They re-signed all 22 Super Bowl starters. I find it hard to find a hole here.
Mm-hmm. They just get better.
I think they just get better with the pick. It's kind of hard to say what they want to go with here. You're not going to be able to develop a quarterback for the future probably at that pick. I think it could be a second round thing for them. Wide receiver, they just don't need. Tight end, they don't need. Running back, they don't need. Tackle, they don't need. Guard, they don't need. Corner, safety might be where they pick out here.
Yeah, I mean, it's just like it's a depth draft right now for them. They're just adding more depth. It's crazy.
Elijah Molden from Washington, safety, is still on the board. I think they just get more depth here. I think they probably go with him.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, the GM for the Buccaneers, it's crazy how great that freaking team is, man, and how I like they still have plenty of cap room. I mean, not a ton, but I mean they got plenty, and yeah, it's crazy how good the Bucs are right now.
Oh, we got our mock draft results.
Oh, we got draft grades from Amazon.
Yeah, we got draft grades from PFF now.
Oh yeah, got A+ for Trevor Lawrence. They're all A's, man. We're just too good.
We got all A's except for we did get a B pick.
The Jets take for the only Notre Dame player.
For the only Notre Dame player to go in the first round this year.
Yeah, I mean, this is a possible draft. I think very possible.
I think, I really could see this happening. Colts taking Jalen Phillips is clearly our highlight of the draft here.
Mm-hmm.
Kwity Paye would be 10. I like Kwity Paye a lot more than Jalen Phillips.
Yeah, me too.
I mean, Kwity Paye is a Ballard pick. I mean, that's what he looks for.
Mm-hmm.
I really don't see a lot of options there. I mean, tackle could very well be addressed in the first round with the Colts, but I'm unsure if that they would do that, especially with the depth at tackle.
Yeah, I mean, we lost Constanzo, and tackle, I think we will address at least once in this draft. Probably pretty early, like second or third round.
I think Cosme is our guy there.
Yeah,
in the second round.
Yeah.
Like I said, if we wanted to, we could have done the second round. I think that's almost reaching for us, especially when we're not draft experts at all. I watch a lot of college football. I know a lot of the guys that are very good. Second round wouldn't be too bad to do, but I do think Samuel Cosme will follow the Colts in the second round.
Yeah, and there's a lot of tackles in this draft. In the recent memory, this is probably the most tackle-heavy draft in a while.
Yeah.
And, I mean, it's a good time that we need a tackle because we got this draft. So, yeah, I mean, we're definitely going to address tackle pretty early in the draft. Not the first round, but second round is a very big possibility. I think Mayfield along with Cosme is a very possible pick as well.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind that at all. Another guys we could see going for the Colts later on would possibly be I think Tommy Tremble was one of the guys.
Mm-hmm.
Notre Dame tight end they're talking about. That's definitely a third, fourth round guy.
Yeah, I mean he'd be a solid weapon for Carson Wentz. We probably are not re-signing Trey Burton, so we just have Jack Doyle and Mo Alley Cox, which are two very solid tight ends in my opinion. But yeah, it's if we can get another weapon on that team, phew. Tremel, man, oh, be so fun.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I've seen a lot of mock drafts with all the players the Colts could necessarily pick. I gotta say, I'm pretty pleased with how I see most of them going.
Mm-hmm.
I trust Ballard with whatever decision he chooses to make, but yeah, I mean, our mock draft was not looking too bad for our first time doing it, and not really doing a lot of research with it.
Yeah, I mean, this was kind of like a thing we just didn't really plan on. I mean, we planned on doing it, but we didn't really plan, ahead of time on what we were gonna like pick. It was kind of like, we're gonna look at the simulator and sort of go with it, and I think we did pretty good.
Yeah, I think I'm a good GM. I think I should go start drafting for one of these teams.
I mean, you can't do any worse than the Jets or the Jaguars at this point. So I mean, might as well just pick for the Jaguars.
Oh yeah, I believe I should be signed as a GM now.
Oh yeah,
officially. I made one B pick. Can't say. Gotta say I probably could pick better than a lot of the teams that are picking in the top 3 this year.
Yeah, and speaking of GMs, there was a big NFL.com article that came out the past week where they basically ranked every executive on how they've drafted since 2015, and guess who was number 1? Chris Ballard, man.
Yeah, our guy. I mean, let's look at the results every single year. 2 to 3 studs out of every single draft we get because of Chris Ballard. I mean, it's kind of hard to sit here and deny that and how good he is. He should be our highest paid player.
Oh yeah, facts. And what's nice is he's very young, so he's going to be our GM for a while, hopefully.
Yeah, I hope so. I hope they don't let him walk ever.
He likes it.
He is very stingy with his money, though. I do kind of dislike that part of it, but
yeah, we have been very frustrated. I think a lot of Colts fans have been frustrated with how many free agents have, we've be signed by other teams. But I'm very glad we got Ty back. He's the heart and soul of our offense in terms of not physical but mental. He's our leader, and and we got Michael Pittman who's learning. He had a pretty fun year last year, and can't wait to see what he does next. And Ty is going to finish his career out hopefully with the Colts.
Yeah, I think Pittman will break out next year, big time. That's my number one thing. He'll have over 1,000 yards. That's my guess. 100%. He'll definitely have over 1,000 yards. Ty will have over 1,000 yards, and he'll get the nice little 10K. In the Colts uni. Be the third wide receiver to do it.
First franchise to ever have it, right?
I'm pretty sure.
Have 3 different wide receivers with 10,000.
Yeah, I would say we're probably one of the first. I couldn't imagine anybody else having.
I think that was a big thing because we wanted him back, and he's only 500 yards away from 10,000 or something like that.
Yeah, he's not that far. Definitely be able to get it next year, especially with Carson Wentz throwing the ball.
Yeah, and Carson, no one's really sure how he's gonna do, but he's got a lot more health than he did last year.
Yeah, and also Paris Campbell coming back should help out a lot.
If he stays
with getting
healthy.
Yeah, especially with it'll help with getting Ty open. I think Ty just gets blanketed because of no one else really being all that well.
Yeah, and that's a big reason why, that's the worst thing about last year is that, Rivers, he played really solid in my opinion. It's there's a couple games where he didn't, but he just didn't really fit our team and our style because we have guys who are deep threats and he can't throw it deep anymore. But,
and I think
we got Manican.
Kind of screwed over Ty.
Yeah.
But like I said, defense is going to beat the defense. I mean, there's not really much we could say about that. An edge rusher would help in the draft, and I think that would definitely get addressed at some point.
Yeah, and we lost Anthony Walker to the free agency. He was just asking for too much money that we could spend because we have to re-sign multiple players next year, and Ballard has to keep that into account. But we still have a very good linebacking core.
Oh yeah, I think Bobby Okereke will do just fine.
Yeah, and we got DeForest Buckner right up the middle. He's just causing havoc in there. We got
Rhodes and more.
Yeah, we re-signed TJ Carey, who's I think a solid like team player. He didn't play a lot of snaps on the defense, but when he was on the special teams, he got that he ran that block punt touchdown against the Titans, and he got a couple interceptions last year, a couple passes deflected, and I think that's a solid re-signing for the Colts this year. And uh, yeah, I'm a little nervous about the corners, but I think we got a solid start, and I hope Rocky Sin can live up to what he was supposed to be coming out of college.
Yeah, that's my main concern. That's kind of why I was thinking Caleb Farley could possibly be that pick there. That would definitely mean Rhodes, Moore, and whoever the rookie wide receiver or corner would be, if that's what we would take, would be our starters. Because Rocky Sin would kind of be on thin ice at that point.
Yeah, he hasn't performed. He's performed really inconsistently, in my opinion. He's had some great games and has some really bad games.
Yeah, I think there's times where he gets burnt, and then other days where he's just lock up. But yeah, I mean, with the draft, I mean, we're gonna definitely address tackle at some point. I think that could happen first or second round. Edge, if the edge rushers are still there, we could trade back to the second round and probably get one of those edge rushers still, and probably snag another pick out of it because you're not gonna swap picks.
Yeah,
just pick for pick. That's just not gonna happen.
No.
I think we're see. We haven't had a first round pick in a minute. Last year's first round pick was technically DeForest Buckner. I was very pleased with that. So
yeah, you're right. We have not had a first round pick since Quentin Nelson.
Quentin Nelson, yeah.
Jeez. Yeah, because we traded out of the first round last 2 times.
So it's been 3 years or so, and we've done well in those drafts when we do trade back. So kind of just depends on what Ballard would like to do.
Yeah, and speaking of the draft, not gonna say anything too like set in stone, but me and Krop are planning on having a draft show recorded while we're watching the draft. Something we really want to do, and get our immediate reactions after each pick. So watch out for that.
Yeah, I honestly can't wait for that. I've been waiting for this draft for a minute now. Like I said, one of the things that we might be on shock for is whoever fucking the Pats take a quarterback. That's gonna piss us both off.
Yeah,
especially
I mean,
Belichick stays around for too much longer.
Yeah. Oh, just got a notification saying that Jake Paul knocked out Ben Askren. So
very interesting. Well, it was a boxing fight, right?
Yeah.
So I'm not necessarily huge into boxing. I'm definitely more into UFC.
Mm-hmm.
And in the one podcast that we that got deleted, that was really probably one of our best podcasts. That's when we talked about the Adesanya Jan Blachowicz fight. And I'll keep you guys updated on the UFC stuff.
Yeah, we crossed up a huge UFC fan. I'm getting into it a little bit. Not quite, totally into it yet. I got a lot of sports on my mind. But yeah, Krop loves UFC, and he's very knowledgeable in that arena, in my opinion.
Yeah, one fight. We watched a fight before we left for vacation. What was that? 3 weeks ago, I think. Francis Ngannou knocked out Stipe Miocic, which Stipe kind of pieced up Ngannou the first time. And, Ngannou wiped the floor with Stipe. Dude is legit built like a tank. If you guys don't know who that is, look him up and that's someone you don't want to fuck with. That is a big fella. He's built like Derrick Henry, but like bigger and stronger and knock you out in one punch. Dude has Mack truck hands. One of the most entertaining fights I think I've seen in a minute. I don't know what other fights are coming up soon.
We got it's not soon, but is it June or July? We have Mcgregor versus Dustin.
Yeah, July 10th. We'll get Dustin Poirier versus Mcgregor 3,
Mm-hmm.
which will be very entertaining. McGregor got his leg ate up that whole first time, the second time fighting, and he just couldn't recover after getting his leg completely chawed up. And then UFC 261 is also coming up as well. Usman will be fighting Masvidal. I know not a lot of people like Usman. Don't know why. I've just recently got into it, so I couldn't tell you why they don't like Usman. And I know a lot of people like Masvidal, and a lot of people want Masvidal to win. Like Blake, our friend Blake, really, really wants Masvidal to beat Usman's ass. But I might have to root for Usman just because of that.
Yeah, I mean, I'm totally into doing more UFC coverage on this channel. I mean, that'd definitely be fun. Some live reactions on that stuff.
Yeah, we have some funny reactions, especially we're watching the fights in one of the fights that was before the Stipe Miocic and Francis Ngannou fight. Sean O'Malley was fighting somebody, and he had this dude knocked out like 3 times, and they just didn't call it. Right at the end, he dropped a fucking nuke on this dude's face. And I was like, I can't believe he did not call that. He's like, he didn't want to have to do it, but
yeah,
good old Herb did not call the fight. And dude probably needed some facial reconstruction after that. Sean O'Malley is an entertaining fighter, very entertaining fighter. But yeah, we also, I don't know what's been happening with the Tigers, but
we got swept by the A's after sweeping the Astros. So we're really up and down right now. I mean,
yeah, we just lost 13-4. So
the Braves did.
Yeah.
How's the Braves record right now?
6-9. I don't understand. I don't understand anything right now. It's just pain.
I mean, you guys had such a great season last year. I mean, we're 6-9 as well, so it's not like, and we got beat 7-0 today by the A's with our like supposedly star pitcher, Casey Mize.
If you want to know how bad it is, we're the last in the NL East right now. So,
well,
and Ronald Acuna is playing fantastic baseball.
Yeah. Well, what's even better is that the Yankees have sole possession of last in the American League for the first time since I believe 1999. So, I mean, at least we're doing better than them, and they're getting literally booed off their own stadium.
Yeah, I mean, I'll tell you this right now. Ronald Acuna is really, really lighting it up for him right now. It's batting 433, 7 home runs, 16 RBIs, 493 on base percentage, 26 hits. If they can turn it around, he's looking like a possible MVP candidate. He seems to get better and better and better each year, and it amazes me.
Yeah, and Tigers, they have, in my opinion, they have a Rookie of the Year candidate in Akil Baddoo. He is just lighting it up. I mean, he had his very first pitch, which I think was our 3rd game this year, his very first pitch in the majors, he hit a home run. And, you know, he leads the team in RBIs. And he's got a solid average right now at 294. Not bad for a rookie.
No, not bad at all.
And, you know, I'm happy that we finally have found a good offense. You know, but it's just our rotations. It's just so inconsistent. We just need to get some more pitchers in there, and you know, the Tigers could be a solid team. But I think this year is going to be at least a 500 or a little bit below 500 by the time the season's ending. But you never know. Yeah. This year, at least,
the Braves will definitely turn it around. It's just I think that rotation's in shambles right now. Yeah, they're down bad. Offensively, I mean, they're playing about as good as they can with what they get. Yeah, I know. The White Sox probably end up playing the Dodgers for the World Series this year. So
God, the White Sox are so good.
The White Sox are extremely good.
I've never seen them this good in my life, and God, man, they're so good this year.
I saw someone tweet today something about Cubs winning the World Series. I mean, it's like saying the fucking Cowboys are winning the Super Bowl every year.
Oh yeah, you know who tweeted that? That was Jake Light.
Was it Jake White?
Yeah, right. They're not winning.
I could not remember who it was.
Dude, who else would it be?
I was like, it's not going to be them. I'll tell you right now, the Braves are 6-9 and last in the division, but they're fucking better than the Cubs, right? I don't care if we lost 13-4 today. That happens, all right?
Oh, yeah. I forgot you guys lost to the Cubs today.
Yeah, we did lose to the Cubs. I wasn't going to say anything.
Yeah.
I was a little upset.
Yeah. I mean, Cubs are just they're not like they used to be, that's for sure. I don't know really, what to say about them. They have like a worse average than a batting average than all the pitchers combined in the league does, so yeah. It's crazy.
Yeah.
And then
Braves shambles.
The Braves are in shambles.
Except for Ronald. Ronald the GOAT.
Ronald is the GOAT, man. He's if he had some support on that team, man.
Oh, he definitely does. I think they just need to get the heads up their asses and then get it rolling again.
Speaking of getting heads out of their asses, Pacers play the Atlanta Hawks tomorrow. Well, today, right now. And yeah, the Pacers. I don't really know what to do about the Pacers because we have the talent. We lead in almost every game, and then the fourth quarter, we just lose it. I don't know. We've been outscored 17 times in the fourth quarter this season.
Jesus.
And yeah, I mean, Sabonis and Brogdon and LeVert, they're all showing out. We haven't had Miles Turner in a couple weeks. I just don't know what to say. I'd like to say it's Bjorken, but I mean, I don't really want to hire a new coach after just hiring a new one. So I mean, I don't really know. Just don't know what to say about the Pacers team.
Yeah, I've not watched a lot of basketball this year. Just haven't found myself not busy enough to watch it, really. Working in school and all that.
Yeah, and I found it hard and hard to get into it just because I have YouTube TV, so Bally Sports, what used to be Fox Sports, they took off. They're not like playing on YouTube TV, so I can't watch them. Legally, I can't watch them. We won't talk about how I watch them, but
we don't want to talk about it. But just know,
yeah,
we watch the games.
Oh yeah,
when we can.
But yeah, I don't know what to say about the Pacers, man. I'm hoping this is like kind of like on purpose, just so we can get a good draft pick in the lottery. But I don't know. I don't really know what to do about the Pacers.
I would like a good lottery draft pick.
Yeah, Pacers haven't had a lottery pick in a while. All right, well, that'll conclude the very first episode of the rebranded BigTwig and the Boys Sports Podcast. I thank you very much for listening. Me and Krop have a lot of fun with this, and we can't wait to take this thing to the next level. And you guys will see what will happen. Some big stuff coming.
Yes, sir. Very big stuff coming soon. Very soon.
Yup.
About within the next 4 months. Be very, very nice for both of us.
Yup. Well, Krop, thank you very much for coming on, as usual.
Oh, always. I'm always here.
Yup.
Never will not be.
And we will see you guys next time. Bye.
See ya.